So let's consider the little things that we can do to be level 1. And now let's move on to level 2, the big things. Let's start by talking about a really hot topic, our food. If you're anything like me, you love food. I love food, a lot of people love food, my friends love food, my family loves food. Food is a lot more than just a source of energy, more than just calories. Food is art, food is life, food is good. So when I first found out about the drought, it really hit home to me because as a devout carnivore most of my life with slight omnivore tendencies, I was shocked by how much water was going into my food. And especially considering that I was working at In-N-Out at the time still, I was eating burgers probably 5 days a week. That was a lot of water going into my food, and that really worried me. So I started eating less meat, I started getting back into eating vegetables, back into eating fruit, and just overall healthier because, eating red meat every day isn't that healthy for you anyway. So now for my favorite topic, the gardens. I don't know about you guys, but I care about the environment that is around me a lot. I feel that the environment you put yourself in really helps set the tone of your life. So there are a lot of things that you can do to be more drought conscious in your outdoor environment. One of the huge wastes of water in our country is that in landscaping. I love gardens, but a lot of water goes into them. And this is a huge problem. The US uses over 9 billion gallons of water a day. 9 billion gallons of water a day just on landscaping. And a lot of that goes to lawns. Are lawns really that necessary? Yeah, they're green and they're pretty and you can eat a picnic on them, but seriously, lawns don't give us that much back. You can't eat a lawn, hopefully. Your dogs don't eat a lawn unless they're sick. And they're just a huge waste of water. There's so much more beneficial stuff that we could be doing with the water that we are just pouring into these green carpets. Lawns just, they kill me. Lawns are so lame. Lawns are the biggest waste of water that I can think of. Like I said, 9 billion gallons. That's a lot of gallons, guys. You can do things such as plant a garden with native species. One of my favorite things to do is gardening with succulents. Not only do you only have to water them once a week, but they just look rad. They're super cool little plants. Or really any native species. Any species that are found here in California are really adapted to living in California. And since California does go through these periods of drought that are not uncommon for our state, these plants have adapted to survive in drought conditions. So they really can still be productive without needing so much water. Or if you're maybe not into succulents, you could plant a garden that you can actually eat the food from, but that is still gonna be using the drought conscious plants like tomatoes, for instance. Do some cool stonework, maybe put a bunch of lawn ornaments. Maybe you're really into garden gnomes, you could do an army of garden gnomes instead or something cool like that. So now, one last topic. This one seriously grinds my gears. There is no other corporation that I can think of off the top of my head that bugs me more than Nestle. Nestle, you kill me. Nestle has been causing discord in the community since about the 70s when they started producing an infant formula that the babies were getting hooked on as they ate. There was a lot of other stuff that has happened along the way, but the one that really hits home today is the fact that Nestle is stealing the water from our California springs and bottling it to sell it back to us for profit, which totally kind of doesn't make sense to me, unless you're into profit, which obviously Nestle is. So while the rest of us here in California are making efforts to conserve water, Nestle continues to bottle from our springs. So we've got, springs that are not flowing from the snow as much as they used to be, and Nestle continues to take our water, and even on permits that have expired. There was one permit that expired in I think 1988. They've been bottling from this spring for over 37 years illegally. And the US Forest Service is just now starting to look into it, but not much has been done so far. The CEO of Nestle even went so far as to say that water is not a basic human right and should be privatized. All this while taking the water from our springs. If this bugs you as much as it bugs me, or even a fraction of as much, I would urge you to join the international boycott against Nestle. No Nestle. So Nestle actually has over 2,000 brands around the world, and it can be kind of hard to keep track of, but I would urge you to try. Not all 2,000, of course. There are a few more big brands that you'll probably recognize in your everyday life, such as Cheerios, Purina, Arrowhead is the big water one that's stealing most of the water from the California spring. Oh, and those Toll House cookies that you really like? Yeah, also Nestle. So sorry, but no more Toll House cookies. As much as I love them, that's something that I've cut out of my life. So if you've made some little changes to your life, then maybe it's time to start making some big ones. You can do so by cutting meat out of your life, not necessarily completely, but reduce it a little bit. Drought-conscious gardening, completely boycott Nestle, of course. And if you're into the political thing, maybe get involved with your local government. Personally, politics isn't for me, but I would urge others who are into that kind of thing to do what they can and get involved with their government to help make changes. So, what are you gonna do?